DreamHack was really fun, but don't let the photos fool you. I was dying the entire DreamHack. So for whatever reason, I genuinely don't know why. For whatever reason, no matter what time we went to bed the night before, I was waking up at 7 in the morning. So it didn't matter if one of the nights we went to bed at 4 a.m., still got up at 7 a.m. One of the nights we went to bed at 11 p.m., still got up at 7. That was one of the better days. I don't know why. Like, there was a big window, so it could be that. Everyone's like, hey, I miss you. And I'm like, dude, I just want to relax. I just want to, like, be alone. Not to shit on my friends. It's just too much over and over again. DreamHack, I, like, was barely sleeping. And I probably ate maybe 600 calories every day of DreamHack, which is also really bad. So, for TwitchCon, there's, like, Gaslamp Quarter. And so, there's food all around Gaslamp. Typically, or a lot of times, we were, like, leaving to go get lunch, and then we'd come back or something. Or it just didn't feel like that big of a deal to just, like, get food for a little second, you know? But, like, there wasn't that many food options at DreamHack, and they were all fairly expensive, and they were just in the convention center. So I just, like, kind of didn't eat very much. So I didn't really eat very much at DreamHack because I just felt like I didn't have time, and I didn't have money. And so I was just like, well, I don't want to pay for a $14 pizza. I'll just eat, like, an apple that I can get in the Creator Lounge, which was nice. They had breakfast in the Creator Lounge. So one of the days I had a muffin, and one of the days I had an apple from there. But yeah, I was, like, the group I went with, too, getting dinner wasn't, like, an event for us to go do, like, oh, yeah, and then afterwards we'll go eat at the place. Like, that's part of the thing we're doing. There was only one day that was like that. So, anyway, so I was, like, starving and tired the whole time. But it was a good time. That was the most coffee I think I've ever drank in my whole life. I don't think I've ever drank that much coffee. So I was having, like, a frap or two a day. There was one day I had a Red Bull. Mistake. That one was a mistake. 300 milligrams of caffeine all at once is, like, I'm not built for it. Other than my body being absolutely mad at me. Oh, wait, no. Completely forgot. One other reason my body was mad at me. I think our Airbnb had a spider infestation. Nothing wrong with being alone. It's always good to clear the mind. Yeah, well, my friends don't think so. They want to talk to me since I'm back, but I'm just like, dude, I don't want to talk to any of you. Not their fault or anything. I just don't want to. I'm just so fucking tired. I'm, like, not ready. Also have a lot of fires I need to put out on the internet, like internet fires, which is stupid, dumb, and it's not really my priority, but which is why I haven't done it yet. But I guess there was some drama by just simply existing at DreamHack. I don't fucking know. So anyway, I have to write a statement for Twitter. God forbid I was having fun in a public space at 1 p.m. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, and by fun, I don't mean, like, I did something. Like, I literally was just existing in the convention center, and that was a problem for someone on Twitter, but whatever. And then also, like, friends just beefing with each other. I don't know. So I have a lot I have to fix, and I just haven't been able to wrap my brain about that. But let's go back to the spiders. Our Airbnb was infested with spiders, I'm fairly sure. Or at the very least, the living room and the couch, which is where I was sleeping, because Tammy did not suffer from what I suffered from. I don't know if I should show you guys these. I'm gonna show you guys these anyway. I got bit to shit to where I'm literally bit all over the place. So let me show you. There was at least 8, but there's, like, 3 right here. I guess you can't really see those. Hang on. Okay, do you guys see these bites on me? Like, these are spider bites and they itch. They itch really bad. There's, like, a humongous one on the back of my other leg. And then there's, like, a ton by my ankles. They didn't bite my arms and they didn't bite my torso or anything, which tells me that it was because of the couch I was sleeping on, because I was sleeping on a couch and I was sleeping with, like, this red blanket I found at the foot of the bed, and either the foot of the bed had spiders, as in the red blanket that had spiders in it because that's what was covering my legs, or just the middle section where the couch parts to be 2 cushions had spiders, and so they just came up and started eating my fucking shins and calves and things. The upper body doesn't have it though, so I know it's not mosquitoes, because that doesn't make sense. Everything else just doesn't make sense in terms of being plausible. So if we weren't in that Airbnb, if we were anywhere else, I wouldn't have these bites on me. So I was, like, really uncomfortable the whole DreamHack, just itchy, and I'm still itchy. And because of these bugs, I saw a spider in my backpack. I opened my bag to grab deodorant out of it, and there was a spider in my bag. And so I took off all my clothes the second I got home, literally just stripped naked at the door right after I closed it, put everything in a garbage bag, and then I threw the garbage bags outside, and they've been outside for 3 days. So I have no access to any of my things from DreamHack because I'm worried that there is some sort of bug. I don't think it's bed bugs though. I thought that was sort of what I thought was happening, but after looking at the bites more, it's not that. So anyway, it's a shit show, you guys. What the fuck? Do you have any powers? No, dude. And spider bites make you tired? Now I'm wondering, make you tired? Yeah, spider bites can cause fatigue. Fatigue is a cause a common systemic symptom that can occur after a spider bite, especially if the bite is from a venomous spider, such as a black widow or brown recluse. Venom caused by these spiders can cause inflammation, muscle weakness, and other systemic effects that can lead to fatigue. Okay, well, that's good. I wonder if that's why I'm so tired, to be honest. Because like I said, I slept like a full night's, well, I woke up at 11 and I went to bed at like 6. Okay, so that's only 5 hours, and I went back to sleep at 5 p.m. until like 8 p.m., which is like 4 hours. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sleeping like shit, though, since being back. Was this last night or the night before? Okay, so Dreamhack was... Okay, I left on the 22nd and in the morning, and then Dreamhack was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 23 to 25, and then we haven't even gotten to the thing yet. I don't know if I want to spoil it, actually. That's when Dreamhack was. I don't know what your question is, but we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, I have a bunch of spider bites on me, and I feel bad because the only thing that Airbnb told me to do was request money back from my host. That's the only thing I could do about it. There used to be a person you'd call on the phone, and then they would just, like, comp a bunch of shit. And I remember that because my friend worked at Airbnb. They weren't stealing it from the host. It was comps, like, from Airbnb themselves. But this time, and I felt bad because our host was nice, but it's just like, how much money do you want from them? And why? And pictures. And then you hit send. And I was like, I don't fucking know, like $50, I guess? Those bites wouldn't have happened if I was staying in any other Airbnb. You know what I mean? How do you judge the monetary value of, like, being eaten alive by spiders in your Airbnb? I don't know that. No idea. And I saw a little spider in my bag when I tried to get my deodorant. I was like, okay, little fucker, so it's you. And your friends, probably. So anyway, I requested money from the Airbnb lady because I was sitting on the couch and she had like 2, and then I think they were just like in the crevice of their couch because Tammy doesn't have bites like I do. And they're only on my legs. I looked up what bed bugs look like, and those are 2 like, those almost look like skin tags, and they're kind of like in patterns where these were just, it was either just one spider going ham or like Charlotte Webb's kids were born and they just like decided that I was their first meal. I don't know. But I'm still itchy, and it is so many days away from the last time I slept over there, and I'm still so itchy. You have a big swollen, no, I have like 8 bumps that are swollen, but they're not big. There's a lot. I mean, I could show you guys pictures. I don't know if you are interested in that. There's at least 8. They were literally eating me alive. I'm not even kidding. So these are the ones on my knee I just showed you guys. That looks way worse in pictures. Wow. Okay, well, these are the ones on my knee. This is my kneecap, just for reference. Then this is the one on the back of my leg. None of this is loading. I'm so sorry. That's the one on the back of my leg. So that's on like the back of my calf, very back of it, like in the middle. Is there other pictures? I think I do have other pictures here. This is on the back of my other leg, at the top, on my thigh. And then this is kind of where my knee bends on the other side. So anyway, I'm bit to shit, basically. Oh, and then these are 2 that are on near my ankle. These ones are harder to see. There's like one kind of towards right here, and then one like kind of up here. This is from my Airbnb, I'm like fairly sure. And then on the other side, there's like a smaller bite on the back of my leg. What the fuck? That sucks, dude. Yeah, it sure does. Oh, man. Crying and throwing up violently. Oh, dang. Is it mosquito? No, it's not a mosquito. Hear me out. If it was a mosquito, why would they only be on my legs? I was not wearing long sleeves. They're spider bites. Why when I say things, people don't believe me? Weird. Anyway, no, it is not mosquito season. Or at least, even if it is, they're not mosquito bites. They have a fetish. Oh, you think they have a leg thing? Yeah, I have them all over me. Not only did I have to travel, I had these fucking things all over me, just itching. And by these being all over me in past tense, it's not past tense. I'm actively struggling, but it's okay. The arachnophobia is real right now. I'm not scared of spiders, but they were taking me as their meal. So my bags and stuff are in garbage bags outside on my back porch. And they've been there the second I got home because I was like, I'm not getting spiders in this house. If it was a different kind of bug, God forbid, I'm not getting those in this house. Girl, I will flip the house if I see one of those motherfuckers. It was tiny. It was like this big. Their bites are fucking me up. The spider I saw was this big, but my bites are this big. So I don't even know how that's possible. Except unless they're like poisonous, but they're not big enough to have killed me. I don't know. Yeah, fair. Let them suffocate and die. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So plus, I only saw one and it was in my bag. And then Tammy saw another. I didn't see it, but Tammy saw another on my bathing suit, and she bruh, she reacted. She just shook him off my bathing suit, and so he got flung somewhere. Like, I'm like, girl, you could have squished it on my... I wouldn't have been mad, you know? Oh, God. I'm lucky it's not on my arms. It's not on my stomach. It's not on my face. My neck. None of that. It's just my legs. And it's not my private areas either. Oh, my God. The inner thigh being bit? Oh, bitch. I would have been pissed. But yeah, it's on my, like, upper thigh is, like, the highest that they bit me. Thank God. I'm so glad they didn't bite the Nunu. No, literally. Well, you know what freaks me out? I've been trying not to squeeze these or anything like that. I've been trying not to itch them either. I literally have an anti-inch cream on my desk, guys. It's for real. Do you guys know Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? The spider one? That shit fuck with me. If y'all saw it. If you didn't see it, I don't mean to spoil. Okay, look. You literally can tell there's some shit that's gonna happen because of how many photos are blurred on this page. Yeah, because these are from the actual story from like back in the day. But in the movie, they did that story from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's called The Red Spot. It's exactly what you think it is. And if you aren't thinking about anything in relation to the bites on my legs, it's better that way for you. Anyway, if you bring up that goddamn pimple, I'm gonna cry. I was gonna show you guys. So because of that being in my brain, I'm like, I don't want to touch any of these. Because the one on the back of my leg is big. Kind of looks like that. It's more swollen than the ones that are like on the front of my legs, which makes sense because there's more meat on the back of my thigh than there is on like my shin, you know? Dad, are you gonna become Spider-Man? God, I hope so. Tanis at the Spider-Verse? Dude. Pew, 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 pew. That'd be sick. Anyway. Guys, we're not even to the part that's crazy. So, I have spider bites. I was waking up at 7 in the morning every day despite like needing to sleep in. And I also was eating maybe 600 to 800 calories the entire time I was there. Then, and I'll talk about the nice stuff after, but let's get the bad things out the way first. Bad news first always, right? Hey, what's up, Jen? Welcome in. Glad you made it back after your flight debacle. I haven't told them about it yet. I'm trying to get there. Oh my God. Yeah, I was talking about TLDR. Pretty sure my Airbnb was infested with spiders because I have like bug bites everywhere. They don't look like bed bug bites, but I put all of my clothes in garbage bags and I put them outside and they've been out there for 3 days. Anyway, just in case, to get to the thing that Jen just mentioned, let's go to that. As you guys may recall, I was supposed to be home Monday. If you didn't know, if you weren't in the Discord, I laid out step by step what happened and it was very long and I understand if you didn't read it because of how long it was. No big. I get it. Yeah, here we go. Actually, this doesn't look that long on computer. I'm not gonna lie, but on a phone, this is a really long scroll. So my initial flight to get there was very cheap, and I was excited about that. We can't break the bank for these things. Went through hell and back for the last 2 days of my trip that were not Dreamhack related at all, and we haven't gotten to that. And the reason I did these like public things in Discord is so y'all would read it, and then no one would ask me questions. I can't separately and individually explain this story, which is why we're gonna do it on stream for those not in the Discord. !Discord. The con was 23 to 25. I got there the 22nd. Me and Tammy hung out first night. It was chill. We went to the grocery store. Everything was all good. Nobody else was in town yet, so whatever. So my flight was supposed to be Monday at 10 p.m. And everyone's like, now why would you do a flight so late? Or 10:40 p.m. Because the only options I had with Frontier were a 6 in the morning flight on Monday or a 10:40 p.m. Monday. They didn't have anything in the middle of the day. Josh was like, listen, if you're paying to sleep and you're paying until checkout at 11 a.m., then you should sleep. Because if it was 6 a.m. that I took, I probably would have just stayed up all night and then gone to the airport at 3 a.m. and then just left. So he was like, if you're gonna sleep, so I was like, okay, cool. Everybody else's flight was at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. The original idea was that Tammy was going to be hanging out with me and we would like make a day out of it and everyone else would be gone and that would be okay. Tammy's child decided to bust his head open and needed to be rushed off to the hospital. So Tammy had to leave early. So, okay, that's fine. So I go to the airport with Lucky and John and we hang out until their flights. And that's fine. I hang out in the airport, get some Whataburger, walk around, take the Skytram for a loop, take a nap, and I wake up about 7:30. My flight's at 10:40, so there's still 3 hours before my flight. And I see that it's gotten delayed until 10:58. I was like, that's okay. I am a little suspicious that it's getting delayed because airport stuff usually kind of concludes around 11. So I was worried 10:58 is kind of pushing it. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. And then not 20 minutes later, they said the entire flight was canceled. They told everyone that had a canceled flight, which there was multiple of us. They canceled a flight that was going to Orlando as well. And I think Denver Denver was also canceled. No, not Denver. Atlanta was canceled too. I don't know. There was quite a few that were canceled. Not every airline had canceled flight. I think it's just the runway space. The better airlines took priority since everything got pushed back because of the storm. And so they simply didn't have enough gates. And so they just weren't flying for certain people. That's okay. Get in line. Long line because they canceled so many flights. Super long line. And they only had one line that just like branched out later for each flight. It would have been nice if they had done, this is a Vegas line, this is the Atlanta line, this is an Orlando line, so that we weren't all waiting together, but whatever. I'm in this line and there's a lady that comes around and she's kind of telling us like, hey, if you want a refund or if you want to reschedule, there's this QR code. I look at the QR code on my phone and while I'm at the back of the line, the only available flight it says is for Denver with an overnight overlay and then Denver to Vegas, and that it was going to be flying out the next day at 11 p.m. And I was like, that's a whole day of just bullshit. I don't feel like doing that. And so by the time I got up to the line though, that flight was gone. The Wednesday version of that flight was gone. So like they said that I would have to fly out same flight, the Denver to Vegas, which still sucks because it has an overnight from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in a city I've never been to before. I've never been to Denver, but it wouldn't fly out till Thursday. So I'm like, okay, I'm hotelless in Dallas. I'm going to wait for 3 days before I can fly out and then still be hotelless in Denver and then finally get home. Like I'd be home by the 30th. So I'd be 2 days late to my anniversary and only have like a couple days before my birthday and also be missing all those streams. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And so I was like, that's not gonna work. And Frontier was like, we can only do flights that are Frontier and we can only do either refunds or flight changes. The Denver thing, I was like, well, is there like cots? I was joking. I was like, you're gonna pull out a cot for me in the airport? And they were like, well, the airport has a hotel. And I was like, it does? In it? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, are you guys covering that at all? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay. No meal voucher, no comp ground transportation, no comp to Ubers, no comp to Amtrak, no comp to Greyhound, nothing. None of that. Looking around because I need to get home. I look at my phone and I was going to all the major cities in Texas and checking if they, one, flew Frontier, and two, if they flew Frontier to Vegas. And there was a flight at 2 p.m. the next morning out of San Antonio. And I don't know the difference between San Antonio and Dallas, but kind of far, I would say. You know, just 275 miles away from each other. Pretty far. Just a 4-hour and 40-minute drive. Pretty far. They had a flight at 2 p.m. And I was like, okay, cool. So I looked up buses and there was a bus that started at 7 in the morning and it would get me there at 1 p.m. So 12:55 is when I was supposed to get off this bus. And the bus stop is only a 15-minute Uber ride from the airport. I was like, okay, that's perfect because the flight is at 2:20. And I was like, that's great. And we were on time and the bus was pretty good. It was quiet. I didn't have anyone sitting next to me. And I was like, okay, perfect. This is going to work because they could change my flight to this other airport. Perfect. And even the front desk lady, when I did this, was like, oh, that's really smart. Because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a bus because the bus was only $60. It sucks that I have to pay it out of pocket, but $60 and then they're paying for this $219 leg of this flight. I'll get home by tomorrow instead of in 3 to 5 days. It's going well. And there is a bunch of stops that we stop at on the way. Like we stop around here and we stop like in Waco and we stop like in Temple and then in wherever the fuck this is. I'm not seeing a major city name come up. Wherever this is, Round Rock, I don't know. And we had one stop before we got to San Antonio. One stop and it was called San Marcos. It's like right here versus right here. And one stop away, we are 48 miles away and there is a crash that happens in front of the bus 20 feet in front of where the bus stop is. If it was a normal crash and we were not near a bus stop, we could have just gone around. We could have taken an alternate route, but because the bus stop was in front of the crash, we had to get around the crash. We had to wait for the crash to disperse because he had to drop people off and pick up people 20 feet away. We sat there for like an hour and it was at that where I hadn't missed the flight yet, but I only had 40 minutes before the flight and I had a 50-minute drive according to the map. And so I called them. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking make it. And I was crying because I was like, part of me was debating getting an Uber and the Uber was $40. Getting an Uber so that I could maybe make it, but it would be so close and they might have already closed doors by the time I got to the airport, not even through TSA yet. So I didn't end up doing that and I just fucking ate it and just cried. Cried an hour on the bus, knowing I wouldn't make it. Called Frontier and I was like, listen, hey Frontier, what do we do now? Because I just missed this flight. They're like, well, the flight's not. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna make it in time. And they're like, so you're in Dallas still? I'm like, no, I'm on a bus. I was supposed to be there and I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys fucking up. But this is what's happening. So like, what do I do? And they tried to find me a flight. There was a San Fran to Vegas booked, Denver to Vegas booked, to the point where like they were asking me if I could see on the site if it was available. It wasn't. They don't do standbys, of course not. And then on top of all of it, they were like, yeah, I can't find anything. I'm gonna have to refund you. And I was like, okay, that's fine, I guess. And they said they were refunding me the original price, which kind of blows, but it makes sense. I didn't pay for the 219 flight. My leg of the flight originally was $40. They said I'd get the 40 back, and then they say I'm gonna get it back as a credit. A credit. Because they had already switched the flight once, my original money became Monopoly money at that point. Despite the fact that I never took a fucking plane. I never actually touched a plane. I never got on a plane. They didn't even give me my money back. They gave it as a credit, and I was like, I'm never flying with you again. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I was hoping, I was like, well, the bus ride was $60 that I just took for no reason. Because here's the thing, I could have been stranded in Dallas. I was stranded in San Antonio and it took me 7 hours to get there. 7.5 because of the delay and stuff. And it was supposed to be a 6-hour bus ride. It took me 7.5 hours to get to a place where I still had no flight. I could have just gotten a Southwest flight out of Dallas directly and just gone the fuck home immediately. But I tried to use their bullshit of changing these flights when I shouldn't have, just to not even get $40 back for at least what I spent on the bus ride. Doesn't count. I might lost on the bus, but at least, and I don't even get that back. I still had to spend $365 on a flight back using a different airline. I'm out $500 more than I was supposed to, and my birthday is next week, and my rent is due in 2 days. So anyway, if you guys want to help, exclamation point tip, exclamation point Fourthwall, because yikes, dude. And I was very frugal the entire trip. I was so frugal the whole trip. I barely ate. Like I said, we were making sandwiches and bringing them into the convention, which technically we weren't supposed to do, but I guess security didn't really care. And I'm still 500 down. I had to borrow from Josh, and I've just been exhausted and tired since coming home. I didn't sleep on the bus. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. So I was up like 6 a.m. and then I got home at a normal time. I got home at like 7. But then I took a nap, and then me and Josh went out to Denny's once he got home. That was the other thing. I need to get home to Sophie. I feel really terrible because she was without a human here an additional day than it was supposed to be. I know she would have died. Like, Josh would have just... If I was stuck somewhere, Josh would be home at midnight that day. But imagine Josh wasn't coming home. Imagine Josh, he never had a flight, or like he was still going to be in Hawaii for a couple of weeks. Dude, it's very stressful. I wanted to make this as cohesive as possible. I'm going to read everything now. You probably didn't sleep because of the stress, bro. Well, yeah, maybe. They're actually obligated to offer you vouchers. It breaks their agreement. No, so they're not. Everyone said that. I need to show you guys something. So, travel dashboard, airline dashboard. You check your carrier. If you put in Frontier, it tells you what they offer you. The only thing that they offer is rebook passenger on same airline at no additional cost, or a meal voucher when cancellation results in passenger waiting 3 hours or more for a new flight. That is it. That's it. And then legally they have to refund you, but because I had already done this first step, they argued I didn't deserve or earn or whatever a refund. And other places don't look like this in terms of like their stuff. So Frontier does that, but like even Delta has better shit. I don't know what Spirit's look like. Spirit even looks better, you guys. A complimentary hotel for passengers affected by an overnight cancellation. That would have been really nice. So Frontier is even worse than Spirit, y'all. Spirit is safer to fly. Ground transportation too, meaning that bus ride I did would have been covered to get to the other thing. But this is to and from a hotel, so maybe it wouldn't have been technically, but I don't know. So anyway, I stayed at Tammy's for a night. Not really a night, because I left at 5 in the morning, and she picked me up at midnight. Barely slept. I was like sleeping in one of her chairs, because I didn't want to take her bed in case she wanted to lay down. She stayed up the whole night, though, just kind of playing Schedule 1 and stuff. But I don't know, I felt bad. But then I gave up. When there was like 2 more hours left to sleep, I just like laid in her bed, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking tired. Yeah, I kept waking up like every 30 minutes at her house. So stressful. I wasn't completely stranded, but I felt like I upset her mom. I tried to say thank you in the car, and her mom completely ignored me, and I don't know if it was just the road noise, she couldn't hear me, I don't know. But she was supposed to drive me to the bus stop in the morning. I'm just gonna leave, I feel really bad. So I paid $30 to get to the bus stop. 38? 32. I paid 30 something to get to the bus stop. That was $60, and then 15 to get to the airport, and none of it mattered because there wasn't a flight for me. I'm crying. If I was still living in Denver, I would have gotten you a discounted hotel room. I have a lot of friends in Denver. Nightingale was saying, oh my god, you should come stay with me. You should hang out. And then my friend Allie also said I should go and visit her. She's an old coworker of mine. I've only met her once in person though, because of a work convention. But you guys, the problem is not that it was Denver. If it was Denver that night and then Vegas in a few days, that would have been okay. Like if the Denver flight was at 11 p.m. that night and then my leg of going to Vegas was in a few days, I guess that would have been fine. That would have sucked. I really wanted to see Josh. I really needed to feed my cat. That would have been fine, but it was not getting to Denver until 3 days from then. I was stuck in Dallas, not in Denver. That's the problem. Coast City would have been Austin. Oh, I know that. They don't have Frontier. Austin doesn't have Frontier. That's the problem. That's why I went that far. I checked all the major cities. So I checked Austin and I also checked, there's one more. I checked in the middle. They don't have Frontier there, or they don't have Vegas flights. I needed it to be Frontier for them to cover it, and they didn't have anything. And if they did have something, those flights were already taken by people that had the same idea as me, and they just didn't go as far as I did. I guess the other direction would have been like Oklahoma, but I think the bus going there wasn't one. We're going down did have a bus. Literally a horrible experience. Yeah, a credit scam artist. No, literally. You have the right to be upset. Yeah, I miss you already, dude. I missed the good part of my trip, dude. Honestly, the traveling back kind of fucked up everything for me. Very much killed it. Also, all of the spider bites on my legs. You went through war at the end, bro. I did. So anyway, that's what happened. That's all of my grievances. Dreamhack itself was great. Don't fly Frontier, ever. All my homies hate Frontier. Fuck Frontier. I've never had a problem like this.